Is it arrogant to consider yourself confident in your future success, even if it hasn't happened yet?
Like my style? Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos.
But I've always felt that with enough patience, everything could be realized. Life does seem pretty challenging and unforgiving in a lot of ways, but there is also so many opportunities to make your goals a reality. And I have felt for many years now that if you seize those opportunities and if you don't wait, that you can accomplish them, even if they are pretty out there. Maybe it is in some ways pretentious to think that we could ascend to whatever heights that we wish, but maybe that is part of the human experience, is to reach. And even if it doesn't happen in this life, the fact that we know that we were getting better and that we were climbing towards that dream in some ways is enough. So patience is really the virtue. There's many, but it is the virtue if you think about it. Because so many things take time. It takes time to get your own place. It takes time to become a best-selling author. It takes time to trust yourself. Some goals are a bit less personal, even. Some involve other people, some involve the world. You can imagine that the larger the scale, the wider the scope, the more time it may take. And that's not even considering future generations and, looking deep into the future, which we may tend to do if we are forward thinking. So you have to be able to put yourself behind to consider in some ways, what comes later, what comes after. There's this version of you that you are working towards, or this reality that you are approaching, but that involves in some ways leaving something behind, and being confident that you can reach that point is, if anything, just about a belief. It's a knowing that you can, that it is possible. Should doors be opened, else you may break them down. Should you pass through those windows and encounter the trials that you need to keep rising. Of course, when you meet them, they may surprise you, they may challenge you to a new level, which will require you to develop yourself in different ways, acquire new skills, and to become a version of yourself that is able to meet your expectations, or at least the expectations necessary to fulfill this dream. It takes a lot. And so patience allows your body, your mind, your spirit to develop enough, to be sufficient enough to take whatever it is that you want. And if it's not to be taken, perhaps it's to be received, but at least to be afforded the ability to even own it or access it in some way. So, what does that look like? Okay, think about it for a second. If you are an athlete, you don't just wake up and become world champion. It's not just handed to you on a platter. It takes hours, days, weeks, months of training. Not just physically, but of your minds, of your eye. Your physical prowess must be honed to a particular level so that you can be on par with the standard that is typically considered to be of your desire. Whether that's a champion, whether that is, just somebody in a pro circuit, etc., you still have to have a particular idea of that box, that vision that you want to see yourself in, and work to get to that point. Okay, but how about qualities that are a bit more metaphysical? Think about something like appreciation or gratitude. It takes time to understand those things too, because when you are young, if you haven't experienced certain life happenings, you may not be able to process or comprehend the depths of those types of feelings. When I was a kid, I think I myself was in the same position. I came from somewhere where arguably I should have had this understanding early on, innate understanding that life is perhaps not to be taken for granted. But I think I still developed a particular selfishness and misunderstanding of the nature of sacrifice. It wasn't really until I was a teenager that I was able to see where my own parents had given up certain things to allow me to be in a position to succeed. And I've seen it on the faces of my parents. I've seen it in the way that they talk. It's not something that you can understand so quickly, at least not for everybody. So your parents especially are a good example to learn that, because they, if anybody, wanted to see you move forward. And for them to do that, they had to take a step back to help you to pursue this life, this existence. It meant that they had to be patient too, to allow you to push ahead. It wasn't without a cost, and nothing was certain, but to some extent, they still have to have confidence that they can provide and that they can allow you, permit you to become who you want to be, to give you the resources, to put you in the box and allow you to fill in the rest. To give you the structure and the support. And past that, it is up to us as we take this platform and use it to, further our development, our progress. There's values that we have been ingrained with. There's lessons that we have learned. Of course, at the crossroads of our physical body, our minds, our spirit, is where we begin to really tap into the potential of what we can do. And I think a few years ago I really started to see that, which is why I no longer felt pretentious about being so confident. You know, I'm still at heart quite a willful person. I do feel sad quite often and feel a disparity between how I feel life could be and how life is. Albeit, there's still this underlying confidence that the work that I'm doing, the consistent effort that I've put in for years, for the majority of my life, I think will amount to something. I know will amount to something. And it's in these little progresses, these little successes that I know exist the totality of what I want. It's not about just these measurable, quantifiable goals, these titles that I wish to attain. It's about making the best of what I've been given and reaching into the future to grab the most of what I can. You know, not to be greedy, but just to, you know, just be that essence of whatever it is, whoever I am, which has always been surrounding ambition, compassion, and I think leadership in some way. I know I'm not the most intelligent person. I don't have the most well-rounded technical skills. I fall short in many areas, and I don't really have any one thing that I excel in. But I know that I'm somebody that's able to process many different ideas and perspectives and ways of understanding the world. And that has helped me to acquire a variety of skills. Maybe not to a masterful level, but at least to a point where I can build off of them and absorb them into, you know, my larger way of viewing the world. These have all been created, of course, using patience, and that is something that I continue to hone, and it is kind of at the core of all of it. I'm in it for the long run, you know? I know that what I'm working towards isn't something that is going to be achieved by the time I'm 30 or I'm 40 or I'm 50. It may not be achieved even by the time I die. But it is something that I've been working on, and you might call it my life, my story, but for me it's my project, and it's the biggest one of them all. It's something that I have creative control over, you know? In many ways, I am a product of what has already been. But should I want to make changes, they are available to me. I've done many push-ups to build this chest. I choose to wear this necklace. This is my hair, yes, but I chose the style. And so what I'm trying to say is that there are many things that we can do, and we can create, we can put things, arrange them how we want them. We can build, we can take down, we can restart. This is all, one big work of art. You can do with it what you will. If you choose to destroy, so be it. But if you choose to enrich and to put everything you have into this, to put passion, to put energy, soul, then don't be surprised when you get out incredible moments and successes beyond your wildest dreams. And I know for me too, those are coming. I can feel it. So it's not arrogance. There are times when the ego does get a little bit too high, too full, and it does need to be deflated. It does need to come back down. But those are often moments of superior interest and overwhelming passion about something, and it doesn't mean that is misplaced per se, but perhaps it should not come at the expense of humility and awareness of life's unpredictability, because we can still get knocked off, we can get swept off of our feet, we can get sick, we can break bones, we can die at any moment. So we have to keep in mind too that we aren't these invincible beasts that can run around so freely and can prance around like we can live forever, because that's not the case. So patience is also something that has to be understood as a double-edged sword. The older you get, the more responsibilities may start to surround you, the more loved ones may be needing your support, the more items you may acquire. These things may feel in some ways like burdens, but you can always choose to an extent your relationship with them and how much you want to dedicate to them. But if you are a person that does connect and does invest, then more than likely you will have to account time for this. And so you'll have to be patient with yourself too, as perhaps you may slow down. These goals may seem further and further. And I'm not there yet, but I imagine that that's natural. And I'm already creating a sliver of empathy for myself for that day if it happens, which I think it will. But for now, I'm young, I'm hungry, I'm ravenous, and I feel motivated. I feel exceptional. I'm on, and I don't feel like turning off. So, if you're with me, let's charge forward. Let's get after it. Let's put in the work. Be patient. Be aware. Stay focused. And let's make this a reality. Until the next one, take care. And peace.